To celebrate Black History Month, we'll be catching up with some Griffin Park favourites over the next few weeks. First up is former Bees centre-half turned women's head coach Karleigh Osborne, who reflects on his time in West London.
It was funny because I was a real late developer in terms of my football. My dad had a men's team, so I'd always trained with them for like a young age. So physically, I'd always been able to deal with, especially people my own age, but I'd always kind of shone in that department. So I started to get picked up by a few different clubs and went on trials to a few different clubs. Went to QPR, was there for a few months, and then they felt they couldn't offer me anything. So Bobby Ross, who had kind of looked after me while I was there and had a lot of belief in me, he asked me if I wanted to kind of go and have a trial at Brentford, and of course I said yeah. I kind of felt it was going to be like my last chance, just because I'd been to a few different clubs and it hadn't happened. So I kind of felt like it was going to be my last chance. I thought, you know what, let me just give it a go, give my all, and see what happens from there. And fortunately enough, you know, I got offered something, got offered my scholarship, and then kind of from there, started to build my career from there. I'd started to get a chance training with the first team and stuff like that. So the transition of me kind of not having a pro club to all of a sudden being at a pro club and trying to earn a pro deal accelerated really quickly. And then to finally get given my debut was amazing. I can remember walking out, and it was a young team at the time. I think the first team, they was in the playoffs and stuff. So Martin had made a few changes and that, and it was a young team, but Hull obviously had just been promoted, so they had I remember they had Nicky Barmby playing and Craig Fenger, so there's some real good names and some real good players, and looking across at them and thinking, wow, I'm about to make my debut. And once you come out and you hear the crowd and the cheers and that first whistle, it was one of the best feelings. I tried to learn from everyone really. Obviously Kev O'Connor was a massive one. He'd come through the system himself, was a fantastic guy, fantastic player. So kind of he was the one that everyone wanted to follow because he'd done it. J-Tab, again, like another player who was fantastic, who you kind of knew they was going to push on in their careers. All the pros, we had a good changing room. It was a tough changing room, the first team changing room. They made sure that we knew what kind of scenarios we was coming into and what was expected in terms of the standard and how high the standard was. There was no kind of easy route. You had to make sure you put the work in and done things properly and done it right. But it was the best learning for me at a young age, and I'm thankful, because without that learning I wouldn't have had the career I had. So I went out on loan, and I done well on loan, but I knew that I wanted to be playing my football at Brentford and at Griffin Park. And when I come back, I made sure I grabbed my opportunity I got, and I played I think I played majority of the games after coming back, and we ended the season on a massive high. So the learning was good for me again. Andy Scott was 100% right in sending me out on loan. Now I look back on it and I'm like, it's exactly what I needed at the time. As a footballer, you want to play every game you can. Every minute you can, you want to play. But it's not about me, it's about the team and about the club. So the manager has to do and pick the team that he feels best and right to play at that time. So it's never an issue in that sense. The main thing was we got promoted, and we did. So the celebrations and stuff were fantastic. Obviously that was my first promotion. It was an unreal experience. Loved every second of it. I knew it was something I wanted to get more of throughout my career, that joy, the smile on people's faces. I just kept feeling year after year I was getting closer and closer to the club. Like even now, I genuinely love the club. Like I'm a local boy. You know, my family's local. My missus lives literally 2 minutes around the corner. Obviously for me, winning promotion was massive, but I genuinely loved coming and performing and pulling on that shirt. It really was a good, strong and fun time in my career. Like I genuinely loved it. I've suffered abuse, unfortunately, at different times, kind of at different stadiums. It was something that, fortunately enough, I never really reacted to crazily, but it hurt to be judged and to be seen that way and for people to say them things. Unfortunately, there's people that feel they can say what they want and do what they want. It's tough for players now. You know, football's huge. Football's massive now, and there's so many different people involved, so many different cultures involved, so many different views on things. So, you know, it's one of those things that we need to stamp out the game. We need to get rid of it. Football needs to be a place where anyone from any background, any culture, any religion, any faith, anything like that, everyone needs to be accepted. I think what Raheem Sterling's doing is fantastic. Being a real leader, sort of kind of not hiding behind anything. He's leading it from the front, and I think when you're in a place of power, if you get yourself into a position of power, you have to lead it, and you have to lead it in the best way possible. And I think he's doing that. I'm head coach of the women's team now. I always wanted to kind of do a bit of coaching and obviously get into a bit of coaching. When I came back to London, I spoke to Amy and Roger, who I'd known for a long time since I was here before, and they gave me the opportunity to be head coach there. You can see how the men's team's moved on over the years, and we want to do the same with the women's team. So we're trying to bridge the club closer together and move forward so that we can kind of be on a level with how the men's team is, if that makes sense. We've definitely improved over the last couple of seasons in terms of the way we play, the infrastructure we're setting up, and we just want to keep building it really. But it's fantastic. I really enjoy it. The ladies are brilliant. We've got some real talented players there. Got quite a young team. We've got obviously the first team, which I mainly take care of with one of my friends, Sean Hillier, who's a coach there as well, who funny enough was in Brentford youth team as well. And then we've got the development team, which is taken by Will, Tommy and Charlotte, who are some fantastic young coaches learning their trade and coming through, and they're doing really well. But the club's moving forward slowly, but we want to make sure it's a place where we build it properly, we build it in the right way so we can sustain lengths of success. We don't just want to have one season that's really good and then the rest of the seasons aren't great. We want to make sure that we sustain success and keep growing the club in the right way and challenge at the highest level we can challenge at.